inner child is where the root of all of your dreams and manifestations to me come true. It is the root of who you are. It is where you find your life purpose. It is where you find most fulfillment. It is where you find healing. And ultimately, it's where you find joy. Hello, hello, beautiful people. This is Marcia Smith, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we are going to talk about the inner child. We're finishing the episode on episode 5, and I feel like during each episode, I really didn't go into detail about what exactly the inner child is and why it's important. And I think it's funny because I would say after this, go back and watch all of my other 4 episodes, but just wanted to talk about the inner child is where the root of all of your dreams and manifestations to me come true. It is the root of who you are. It is where you find your life purpose. It is where you find most fulfillment. It is where you find healing. And ultimately, it's where you find joy. So, the inner child, I've talked about several episodes as why it's important. But today, I just want to focus on um, why the inner child, why I keep talking about the inner child. What is it about? Well, like I mentioned before, the inner child is really who you truly are. If you really think about your childhood, um, go back to the times that brought you most joy, like the things that brought you most joy when you didn't have to worry about bills, you didn't have to worry about school, you didn't have to worry about responsibilities. You were just this happy, joyous being. Um, that is actually what we're supposed to be. Like, that is who we ultimately are as humans. When we came to this earth, we had a destination, is what I believe, and we had a journey, and we didn't have all of the things that we worry about in the human realm of things. We only had to worry about ourselves. We only had to worry about, we had spirit and we had who we are, right? And so until someone teaches us differently about, hey, you're on planet Earth and this is how the world works, before that we kind of had these things that we already was instilled in us from our spirit realm. And so things that made us happy and joyous. For me, I can say that music made me very happy. Singing made me very happy. Dressing up, I have stories of my mom saying I took so much pride, like on Easter Sunday. Um, in my world, Easter was a big thing, and you get to dress up. And we were Baptist. I grew up Baptist. I grew up Baptist in non-denomination, but we would always go to church, to a Baptist church, and we get dressed up. And I never wanted to take off my clothes. I never was dirty. I never was very dainty. And I knew from a young age that I really, really loved clothes. I had a bunch of dolls, a bunch of Barbies. I would get them, strip their clothes, change their clothes all the time. I had a Barbie house. Imagine I had like I was blessed to have like all of the Barbie cars, the houses, the pool, everything. And I would just imagine this life of like singing and wearing clothes. And as I got older, I think I was like 5. That's when the big camera recorders were in. And I would take my dad's camera recorder and I would pretend like I was cooking in the kitchen and teaching how to cook. And I didn't know how to cook. I think I probably was doing a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And then I started to just like to be around the camera. So as I got older, I remember around the age of maybe like 8, I remember going to the store. I can't think of the name of the store. I'm from Atlanta. It was at Greenbrier Mall. But I went to the store. It was a shoe store in there, and they asked me what I wanted to be, and I was like, a fashion designer. Fast forward, I did not become a fashion designer, but I still love fashion. I'm still pursuing, the realm of what that looks like for me. But I also remembered some of the negative trauma, which you've heard me talk about this. If you watched my episodes before, you've heard me talk about the first time I experienced trauma is when, and I realized that I was different from the other kids, is when I got bullied at the age of 8 when I was in gym class and running around the track. Boys would pick with me and call me fat, and um, it made me extremely insecure. It made me realize that something was wrong with me, and that was the start of all of my insecurities for the rest of my life. And to be honest with you, and I've said this before, I'm just really overcoming my insecurities within this year. So it's been very much so a journey because you are shedding of the old person, but people in your circle or people around you, even though you've expressed that, some people still are used to the old version of you. So you'll go through that. But I didn't get there. It took me years of about 4 years to really go into like deep diving into those insecurities. So it's just so important because when if you don't deal with everything comes from your childhood. Like it's so weird, and I didn't realize how important it was until I started therapy, but everything starts there. And so you really have to go there in order to see where you are now, in order to start your journey of self improvement and self discovery. And if you are a person like me, then that's probably why you have already clicked on this video, is you are very dedicated or want to start your journey or continue your journey of self development and self discovery and just living a life of fulfillment and joy and being who you really are rather than the hustle and bustle, the 9 to 5, just the hustle and bustle of the world. You want more. And if you seek to have more of a life experience and to really have heaven on earth and to really have um, an understanding of what your purpose is so that you'll have an understanding of when you leave this earth what your purpose was, and at the end of the day when you leave this earth to say I've had a good life, then this is definitely the channel for you. um, I have been on a self-discovery for I would really say 19, but really, really deep diving within the last 4 years. And once my therapist told me to really deal with the inner child and what that means, that really changed my life, changed the trajectory of my life. And I really got to understand, like, it just was a chain effect. Like, okay, this is why I do certain things and this is why I relate. It just really, I started to realize like why I was a people pleaser, why I was a protector, why I went above and beyond, why I didn't have any boundaries, why I had toxic relationships. Um, and I just want to stress that the inner child is where you should really, really start. That is, and maybe not a start, but at least try it and start to kind of deep dive and to start to think about the things that, I talked about a lot of trauma in my other episodes, which is important so we know what our triggers are. We know why we do certain things and why we end up in certain situations. But also look at the joy that go back and remember the joy that you had as a child. What things excited you? What things from the age of 5 to 14 really, really, really brought you tremendous joy and fulfillment? Because, my dear kings and queens, that is ultimately to me what where you find and where you start to live your life purpose and what really brings you the ultimate joy. What I've found is that I'm in actually construction management, but what I found that really brings me tremendous joy, and as I continue my journey, is I've always been a very empathetic person, and because of my trauma, that became that I was a people pleaser. But now that I'm understanding that it's okay to be who I am, and you just have to set boundaries on who you give your energy to. Now I know that I'm supposed to give my energy and empathetic nature to those in need, and those that really I can serve. I can actually be of service to you on this channel, as well as other people that relate to me, that I can spread my story and just spread some joy, and bringing hope and light into others. And so I encourage each and every one of you to do the same. I encourage you to find your light. I encourage you to play a little bit in your childhood. Take some time, meditate, sit in your bed, write all the things, start remembering all the things that brought you joy. There's so many meditations out there to kind of help you with that, and I will link some below if YouTube will allow me. If not, please leave a comment, and I will definitely send you a link um, to some of those meditations. But I would encourage you to take 10 minutes and just be still and start to go back to the good things of your childhood, and really think about the things that brought you ultimate joy, and start to remember and write that down. Um, and I would also encourage you to have a journal with all of those positive things, that you remember, that light, the light being that you are, the things that you did brought you tremendous joy. And then I wouldn't encourage you to lay down and remember all of the trauma, but I would um, say that that would be a great thing to go to therapy. Therapy has changed my life tremendously and continuing to change my life tremendously. I think that every single adult should have it. I think that that's something that is considered a self-care. I think that is just as important as going to get a massage. Um, I can't live without it. I don't see how I can. I'm single right now, but I don't see myself. As seasons change, I can't see myself not going to therapy as I continue to grow into this new expansive person that I am. So I encourage you to just deep dive and just explore where maybe possibly some of the trauma would have lied. You can actually write it in a journal. I call that a shadow workbook. And you can start just writing that down so that it'll really help you in your therapy sessions. It actually bring you a little bit ahead of the game, because I know that in a lot of therapy they start there, and they want to know what the source of your concerns and your concerns are. So I hope that I brought some insight on the inner child. If you haven't gone back and watch some of my episodes, please do. Please like and subscribe, and please leave a comment and let me know your thoughts on it so that I can create more videos. This is my new channel, but I really want to bring more insight. Maybe there's something that I said that resonated with you that I needed to go deeper and expand more on. But I would love to build a community with you And please spread this joy and this new channel and this new evolution of just being who you are and just trying to live a life of fulfillment and joy and expansion. I love each and every one of you. I want you to take good care of yourself, give yourself grace. And if nobody tells you today you are doing an amazing job, you are taking the steps to become the best version of you. And that is what we're here to do, and that is what I'm here to do, to expand you and to make sure that we can be the highest version of ourselves today and tomorrow and the next day and in this life. But we're humans. Give yourself grace. We're going to make mistakes, but I love you, kings and queens. Stay royal.